From ClarkWoods.com, this is Horribly Off Topic, number 47, with Chris and Steve.
That was very professional, what you just did.
That's how I roll. That's how I roll. This is about the only time in the week that I feel professional right now.
Oh.
There's been a lot.
But then eventually I will ruin it by saying, like, farts or pussy.
The thing is that I have headphones on to make sure that there's no weird shit happening, and it's freaking me out because I'm hearing myself echo. So I might take them off in a second. But what the hell was I saying?
I don't know.
Oh, professional. No. So I got to take them off.
Put them on one ear.
Put them on one ear. I don't know if that'll kind of work. I feel professional at this point, and I feel professional when doing the edit of the podcast. But the last couple of weeks, the other quasi-professional thing that I've done is I post a story a week, and I've been way behind on that. And so every Wednesday, I feel like a schlub. And I went and did a talk at the college where I teach today. On a panel, and
on a Sunday morning on Father's Day?
On a Sunday morning on Father's Day, yeah. And I felt a little bit like a schlub then, like I didn't really help anybody. So I've just been feeling like a schlub. So
guess what, Chris? You're important, and you're important to this podcast.
I do a good intro. I
Yes,
do a professional.
maybe
not
intro.
good.
I
Maybe
do
not
a
good.
goofy song intro.
Yeah,
or rip off some guy that I like on the radio.
Yeah, well, we won't say good. We'll say I do a professional intro.
It's good as well. So
right.
Stop it.
So we missed something last week before. I think it happened before the show. Christopher Lee. Christopher Lee died.
Yeah, the guy that was Saruman in The Lord of the Rings, and I didn't realize he was 90-something.
Yeah.
He was an old fucking guy.
He was an old dude. He hung out for a while. He lived a full life.
Yeah, and he was doing fucking backflips and shit in the Hobbit movies.
Well, and in the movies that are supposedly Star Wars movies that don't exist.
Yeah, he was. He was. What was it? Count
Dooku.
I took a Count Dooku the other day.
Me too. My younger daughter, took a Count Dooku just before you arrived today, and this is a problem. She does not flush the fucking toilet, and she does not wipe, and she is 5 years old. And I'm not naming her, but someday, years from now, when somebody is sort of downloading all of this information into their brain, they'll be able to say, "Oh, his daughter is named," and she liked to take a dump without wiping and without flushing.
Well, that's cool. I'm sure
she took a Christopher Lee in the toilet.
A Count Dooku.
A Count Dooku.
See, I guess it's sort of because Yoda was really old.
Yoda
and
was
he was
really
doing
old.
crazy flips. And
he
shit.
was. I mean, the Force was strong with them.
The thing is, I think the people's. Well, I'm probably going to regurgitate some of the Red Letter Media review of either it was the 2 or 3.
Yeah, he's only in the very beginning of 3, so more likely 2.
The one where he was doing crazy flips with the lightsaber and all that shit. But the thing is, I think the great thing about Yoda, as far as in The Empire Strikes Back, is that he was this frail old little dude.
Yeah.
But he was also really strong with the Force.
Right.
And he wasn't strong. He wasn't necessarily a crazy great fighter, but he was really good at using the Force.
Yeah.
And
which didn't necessarily mean
that he had to be
fights.
And
he I mean, why would he need to do lightsaber fights when he can lift up that goddamn X-wing?
Yeah.
What's the point? Yeah. It's a very valid point.
So yeah. Fuck you, George Lucas, for the first 3.
Yeah.
I'm hoping the new ones aren't shitty.
Hopefully. But they won't have Christopher Lee in them.
Nope.
Well, I mean, they could. I mean, there's all sorts of crazy things you could do now. You can get
really
1984 Arnold Schwarzenegger in a Terminator movie that comes out in 2015. Somehow you can make that happen. So Christopher Lee...
Well, he said he'd be back, so...
He did.
He promised. There was a promise that he made a long time ago, and he keeps on fulfilling it.
He keeps on fulfilling it no matter how much we're like,
he was
Arnold,
governor
it's
for
okay.
a bit. He's like, I was governor. That's my Arnold.
It's like, Governor, it's okay. We don't need you to come back. Did you see he was a wax statue It was on the interweb. Oh no, you mentioned before the show started you've been kind of dark on the internet. This week.
I'm not necessarily dark on the internet. I just I don't know. I've actually been really busy at work, so I've been doing a lot of stuff.
Right.
And so I've been less likely to be slightly bored and like looking at Yahoo News or whatever.
Right. There was Arnold did a kind of a publicity stunt to promote the new Terminator.
I like
movie.
how I picked the worst possible news site. Well, yeah, what can I do? Good old Yahoo News.
Good old Yahoo.
Like remember when like that they were like a contender? Like,
I do remember
against Google as far as the search engine goes.
Yeah, I mean, I think I.
I mean, they're the only ones besides Google that still like sort of are around. There was like other search engines like what
Alta Vista.
Yeah. That was
Speaking of Arnold, I'll Alta La Vista, baby. No, that was bad. Oh God, that one was pretty terrible. Yeah, I am capable of impressions. Just
he does these impressions. You'd think it was the real people.
So he did a publicity stunt on Hollywood Boulevard where he dressed up as I think he was aiming for T2 Arnold, and he was posing with some of the other people who were pretending to be T2 Arnold, and then he went into a wax museum and pretended to just be a statue, let people take a photo with him, and then would come to life and scare the shit out of them.
Be like, "Hi, I used to be the governor."
Yeah, it was pretty funny. It was pretty funny.
Now I'm a wax figure.
Yeah. What if Christopher Lee is doing that? If Christopher Lee, the whole thing is kind of a gag, like an Andy Kaufman kind of thing, where he's not
a
really
90-something-year-old man is pulling an Andy Kaufman and pretending that he died,
so he can be in a wax museum somewhere and then just come back to life. I mean, that's the kind of role Christopher Lee would take on, right?
I don't know.
Okay.
But the thing is, people, there are people out there that think Andy Kaufman's still alive.
There are,
and I'm not one of those people.
No,
that Bob Zamuda guy, like keeps on writing books and says Andy's going to come back and he's going to be like, hey, look at me, I'm doing a crazy thing. I was dead for 40 years so far, or not 40, but like 30 something years, and.
No, it can happen.
That's dumb.
It is dumb.
Andy Kaufman, if you are alive, and I have no idea why you'd be listening to this, if you are alive, just
stay dead.
Stay dead. Do whatever it is you're doing. Enjoy life. Like you pulled a great fast one over all of us. You don't need any sort of validation at this point.
No.
And if you're not alive, rest in peace, sir.
Rest in peace. Yeah. What was your favorite Christopher Lee role?
I'm trying to like besides Dooku and Saruman, I'm having trouble.
Yeah, me too. I feel like he was in some political. Was he in? Is it Dave? No.
I didn't see Dave. So
that's the one with Kevin Kline where he.
I thought that was In and Out.
I think you're thinking of no. I got nothing.
Where he was like pretending to be gay, or he was gay, and then he was pretending not to be.
Kevin Kline is always pretending to be somebody. I mean, that's what an actor does. No, Kevin Kline was pretending to be the president. His character looked remarkably like the president who had somehow gone into some kind of a vegetative state.
Oh.
And I want to say Christopher Lee was in that, but it's probably Frank Langella. I get the two mixed up. Was he evil?
Because like Christopher Lee is usually evil. He's
I think so.
I did like my impersonation of Sir Ian McKellen as what's his damn Gandalf the Grey.
Yeah,
you shall not pass.
That's pretty.
And then
good.
like I did another one. Like try to do another line, and it's like you sound more like Saruman.
So you actually have a Christopher Lee impression. You just didn't realize it.
I didn't realize it, and I probably can't replicate it right now because I'm on the spot. So I won't even try.
I'm trying to think of a
fuck you, listeners.
A Count no, not Count Dooku.
I have a Count Dooku impression.
I was trying to think of a Saruman line, but
I can't think of one.
Yeah, I mean he's just
or like when he was whipping. I keep on wanting to say Dumbledore.
Well, that's like those T-shirts or Facebook memes with that are, it's got a picture of one fantasy character, it's got a quote from another fantasy character, and it's attributed to a third different fantasy character.
Do you watch Game of Thrones at all?
I do watch Game of Thrones.
Did you watch this past week?
I'm
not gonna give away anything.
Yes,
but there was a meme going out. on Monday, I think, and it was George R.R. Martin's picture, and he's like, I don't always kill characters, but when I do, it's your favorite.
It's true. It's true. I did have a conversation in the car with someone yesterday about whether or not the character killed at the end of Sunday night's season finale actually is dead. When the book came out, there was
some ambiguity about that.
There was some ambiguity about it, and Martin himself, in a response to a question about that death, said, "Oh, you think he's dead, do you?" And there's a lot of evidence, including a character on the show whose religion at least has been known to raise people from the dead. Melisandre. I'm already spoiling, aren't I?
Yeah.
Well, she shows up somewhere. I'm not going to say where she shows up, but where she shows up near the end of the episode, she's a representative of the Lord of Light, and the Lord of Light, one of the practitioners of that, he was resurrecting people. I don't know if it was season 2 or season 3, or maybe even 4. How many seasons are we in? 5?
Is that the one with the vagina demon? Spoilers.
Spoilers. Might have. I don't remember the vagina demon.
But didn't she have like a demon come out of her?
Oh, that's right. Yes, but it was not her, but it was somebody else.
That's what we call babies. Vagina demons.
In an unrelated scene where Arya was in the forest with. It must have been season 2. It was pretty early on because she spent a lot of time with what's his face with the burnt face.
Yeah, that guy.
So anyway, there was a guy.
The Hound.
Yes, there was a guy there in those scenes who was able to resurrect people, and so one of the prevailing theories, if the person who died at the end of this most recent season finale isn't dead, is that he'll be resurrected.
Neato.
Yeah.
Well, let's hope.
Although I guess the producers have told him, and this might just be them trying to throw people off the scent. The producers have told him, "Nope, you're dead. You're done."
So. All right, so maybe that's the case, and maybe we're all going to be like really surprised come season 6.
Yeah, could be.
Get ready to drink, folks.
But why are they going to drink, Steve?
Because unlike Game of Thrones, where almost everybody dies, like everybody that you give crap about, One Piece, almost no one dies. You have liquor in there?
Let's pretend.
Okay.
No, it's a big
it's
old...
like a radio drama. I'm drinking alcohol. Glug, glug, glug.
Glug, 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 glug. I got a much better one last week. There was a drinking sound effect somewhere in the middle of the show last week.
I've been watching a lot of
One Piece?
Yeah, obviously. But I've been watching a lot of Stooges on like a Sunday morning before they have it on before getting local for you. The Phantom Gourmet, is a show that's on My TV 38, which used to be WSBK, I think.
And that's always where the Stooges have been for ages and ages.
So like they have them on Sunday mornings. We watch the Stooges, and it brings it back to what you want to do for your career as a Foley artist.
That is what my actual career doesn't. I'm going to shut up. I'm trying very hard not to be sad and depressing today.
Yeah.
So I want to be a Foley artist.
Yes.
Continue.
So like maybe you should if they make another one of those bad Three Stooges like movies.
Oh, that's right.
You should say, "Hey, I'm great at Foley artist work," and then shake a paper in front of a microphone, and they'll be like, "Wow, that sounds just like a paper."
Now that was the Foley brothers, the Farrelly brothers, not the Coen brothers, right?
No, it wasn't the Coen brothers.
I just want to see if I could piss somebody off by equating those two.
Were you trying to piss me off?
No,
because that's not something.
It was the Farrelly brothers, right? Who did the
I think
the
they
bad
did.
Stooges remake.
But there was I think the original, like when I first started hearing rumors about it, like there was a lot of like really famous people that were supposed to play them.
Yes, yeah, it was one of those that sounded like, oh, it could be cool, and then
it was just. I mean, I think like the guy Will Sasso that played Curly. He did an okay job, but like, have you seen his like the Vine videos that he's made?
Maybe
turning people on to Will Sasso's lemon videos.
All right. Well, I will try to put them in the show notes.
And he just keeps on like having these weird lemons like everywhere, and it's that's just watch it after the show. It's not dirty or anything, so you could watch it with the kids around, and they'll probably laugh too because he's doing like weird things where spitting lemons everywhere or whatever.
Yeah.
So it's not dirty. Hooray!
No, hooray! The Stooges. So what do you remember? Which you mentioned you've been watching the Stooges. What episodes have you?
I realize that like there's a lot of them. Like, well, as much as I feel like an elitist saying it. The ones without Curly, I am not interested in.
Yeah,
like,
you're not
if
a
it's
Shemp
fan.
Or Curly Joe.
Or Joe Besser or whoever else. I think wasn't there one more?
I think there was one more, but I don't remember who it was.
Okay, so yeah, there was just ones without Curly are like there's maybe one or two Shemp ones that are like okay.
Yeah, I feel like I am right there with you. Although I think if somebody were to rattle off a few Shemp ones, there might be a Shemp one or two that I.
I mean they do exist that are out there. Everybody out there that listens to the Stooges podcast. Is there one?
I don't know.
Link it in the show notes.
Now I got to find if there's a Stooges.
I'm giving you
podcast.
extra work to do.
Extra work. My favorites were still remain, and I wrote a scene in an earlier version of my play Ain't the Same as Love, which I published on my website this week.
Go and check it out. Clarkwoods.com.
Free 90-page play, 90-minute play. It's good. I wrote a scene that was inspired by, I forget the name of the Stooges one, but it's the one where calling Dr. Howard, Dr. Fine, Dr. Howard, that repeated joke. And that's one that sticks in my brain, and one that I haven't seen in probably decades, but that I really ought to seek out because I have really fond memories of it is the one where they're carrying the big blocks of ice up and down
stairs.
Up the stairs.
Yeah,
and by the time
melting by the time they get it up.
Yeah.
Spoilers.
Can you spoil a Stooge? I mean, it's
If you haven't seen it by now, you're a dick.
Yeah.
Or a sort of elitist, I suppose.
Yeah,
if you're not I don't know. I don't want to say you're an elitist if you don't like the Stooges, because if you don't like slapstick, it's obviously not going to be your cup of tea.
Yeah.
But I don't know. I always had a special place in my heart for that nonsense. One of my favorites was I think it was called Disorder in the Court.
That one I vaguely remember.
And
what happened?
They had this part where they're asking Curly to take off his hat to raise his right hand and put his left hand on the Bible.
Yeah.
And then he takes off his hat, and they're like he takes it off with his left hand, and then he raises his right hand, and then when they say to put his left hand on the Bible, he puts his hat back on, does that, and the judge is like, take off your hat, raise your right hand.
Yeah,
and he just gets all flustered. He's like, woo!
Yeah, Curly is. That's probably. I mean, it's not that Moe and Larry aren't funny. It's that Moe and Larry with Curly is really what makes it, and all the other ones are sort of really rough approximations. Especially anybody other than Shemp. That's why there are a few good Shemp ones, because Shemp is not trying to be Curly.
Yeah, but like. I like how Billy West, the guy who does most of the voices on Futurama, he was also the voice of Stimpy from Ren and Stimpy.
No, I did not know that.
And he based the voice of Stimpy on Larry Fine.
Oh, yeah. Okay,
hey, Ren.
I got it. Yeah.
So basically, when you're doing, and anybody that does an impression of Larry Fine at this point is basically doing Billy West's impression of Larry Fine.
Yeah.
Which is Stimpy.
that makes a lot more sense than. I can't believe that it hasn't occurred to me. I was never a huge Ren and Stimpy fan. It was one of those things that I feel like you and John and like people just a couple years younger than me, even just a year younger than me. My cousin Bill, I think was also way into it, and his dad. Like everyone else was into Ren and Stimpy, and I didn't get it.
I don't know. It was just odd. There was a lot of like long extended like gross things, and if I can understand people not liking it. Like I have like the first 2 seasons on DVD. And I watched them a couple of times, and there was a couple that were like, I'm like, this is great and hilarious. There was It was a Powdered Toast Man episode. It was like that was like the superhero or whatever. And
yeah,
most of like the little interludes they had were really good. Like Log.
Log, I remember.
It's big, it's heavy, it's wood.
Yes.
It's Log, it's better than bad, it's good.
That I have fond memories of.
So yeah, like they had that, and then like they had Powdered Toast Man, or there was like a big ad, but they gave him like his own little like 15-minute part of the episode. And there was just like this stuff like that. I remember seeing it on its original broadcast because we used to be on Snick. I think it was.
I think so. Yeah.
Nighttime Snick or nighttime Nickelodeon or
something like that.
Yeah. So it was on at like 9:00 at night on a Saturday, and or Saturday Nick.
Saturday Nick.
That was what it was.
That sounds right. Snick sounds right. What it stood for, I couldn't tell you.
Yeah. So like it was on at like 9:00 at night or something like that. So it's not like, but like he rescues like the Pope, who in this particular instance was voiced by Frank Zappa. He's like, "Thank you, Powdered Toast Man," and he leaves them on the top of like a giant mountain.
Yeah,
like the very tippy top of a mountain where he has to go and save something else or something. Just leaves the Pope there.
Leaves the Pope.
And I think that caused problems. And then
leaves
a little
Pope Zappa.
Yeah. And then like a little bit later in the episode, he had to make a fire, and he just so happened to have like the Declaration of Independence and the Bill of Rights, and he just crumples it up and throws it in the fire, which I think pissed off a lot of other people.
Well, I can imagine. I can imagine why.
But I like in previous airing or in subsequent airings, they took that out. The part where they leave the Pope on the top of a mountain, and the burning of our historical documents.
They just left that part out. I feel like it was. I don't remember. With John and I growing up, my brother John, that is, for those of you just joining us. I feel like
who would join us at this point in the 47th episode. Like, let's get an interesting cross section. I'm going to start at about 21 minutes in to the 47th episode.
Why not?
I am obsessed with those two numbers.
Yeah, so I feel like we reached almost kind of a silent agreement of, if he liked something first, I was not allowed to like it, and vice versa. So I can't remember what happened with Beavis and Butthead. Because I liked Beavis and Butthead, and that was just a couple years later than Ren. Or it's kind of continued same time as Ren and Stimpy.
I think it was probably, if not the same year, or maybe a year or two after.
Yeah, I think it was a little bit later.
And in that point of our lives, like we have lived for less time, so a year seems like a lot.
Yeah,
more substantive amount of time.
Yeah,
but now like a year went by, and I'm like, a year went by.
A year went by. We're close to a year of this podcast.
Yes,
so,
and it hardly seems that way.
Did you like Beavis and Butthead?
Yes.
Yeah. Did you like South Park later?
I
don't know why these are the progression of things. I feel like Ren and Stimpy, Beavis and Butthead, South Park, like that's a continuous. I don't know.
I was a big fan of Beavis and Butthead until a certain point. I just got sick of it.
Yeah, I mean it's a gag that gets old pretty quick.
But the thing is, like I have the DVDs, but they only have like a certain amount of the music videos, which were the best part,
right? Because they couldn't get the licensing.
To the songs, so it was just like, oh, this is a bummer. I'm sure I have a VHS somewhere at my dad's house that has a whole bunch of old Beavis and Butthead episodes.
Yeah,
which has all the ones where like they're making fun of the songs or whatever. Which
right.
is but like the rest of it, like when they're just like beating each other up and whatever, like whatever.
Were you a Daria fan?
I actually liked Daria.
Yeah,
it was not a bad show.
Yeah, I don't know if I got into Daria, and I don't really know why I didn't get into it. But
you were a brooding teen. I think it would have been your bread and butter.
It probably would be, but I want about those sorts of things that I should have liked way back when, and I try to go back to. I don't know. Like for instance, I didn't watch Freaks and Geeks when it was on.
I didn't either.
And I've had it in my Netflix queue for years, and I still haven't gone back to it. Every time I've tried, it just hasn't felt like the right time.
I watched, did a nice marathon watch of it. Like, actually, it was when I was still getting discs through that service.
That service, yeah.
I watched it, like, I was actually unemployed that summer, so that was what was keeping me sane.
Yeah.
And I was just like, I would just get the disc, and I'm like, oh boy, I'll watch this disc, and I would walk to the post office to mail the one when I was done, and then I would get I had 3 at a time.
Yeah, so you usually had one a day.
Every day except for Sunday.
Yeah.
And I power watched all those, and I was like, this is a really great show, and it's sort of a bummer that it's not.
Yeah,
it never really made
didn't
it.
continue.
But didn't Paul Feig or whatever, wasn't he involved with that?
Maybe.
The guy who did Bridesmaids, and he's allegedly doing the all-female Ghostbusters movie.
Yes, which is filming in Boston, even though it's set in New York.
Yeah,
that was
whatever.
News that came out this week.
That's fine. I don't care about that. But it's weird that this guy is the one that keeps on writing all these movies for women.
Women. It is really strange. I earned a certain reputation, a small reputation, but a certain reputation out in Portsmouth in the theater circles for writing good female characters, and it always felt kind of odd to me that I as a dude earned that reputation, because I'm sure I felt
you're a regular Paul Feig.
I felt complimented that women would tell me that they enjoyed the roles both as audience members and as actresses. But it also felt weird because I know there are female playwrights out there who are producing work that's just as good, if not better. And was I getting work because I was a dude? I don't think so.
Yep.
Now that my plays have been rejected 2 years
Why don't you
in a
just
row.
mansplain it to me, Chris?
There was, to get back to
to get off of this topic.
we
purposely off.
I mean,
topic.
we started off by talking about Christopher Lee, which we missed last week. Happened before we recorded the show, and we missed it. The other thing that happened last week before the show that we missed was that Rachel Dolezal.
I didn't know her name.
I had to look it up. I had to look and listen to a clip to figure out how to pronounce it. Rachel Dolezal apparently was pretending to be black. She is the NAACP,
So it was basically
NAACP, right?
The movie Soul Man.
Yes.
Only in real life for a really long time.
For a really long time. And then her estranged parents outed her as some sort of Northern European descent with maybe a smidge of Native American roots.
So yeah, that's very not. I'm not black. I'm not going to go and try to pick apart. Or not pick apart, but try to find the exact politically correct term, because I'm not going to, and I'm going to probably piss somebody off.
Yeah,
somewhere in this conversation.
Yeah,
let's just wait and see.
Yeah. It was a really odd story, and of course I started. The other thing that I've done this past week is started going to the gym, or I maybe had started before we recorded last week's episode.
You went to the gym last week, and then you were like, "Hi, I'm going to be at this gym now," and then you walked back.
Okay. Yes. All right. So I actually started going to the gym, and that news story was still on the news for the beginning part of the week. And we'll get to why it wasn't as much eventually here. But it was really odd because I couldn't make heads or tails of how I was supposed to feel about it based on, I'd see, they have on these damn TVs at the goddamn gym is the news station. So they've got Fox, they've got CNN.
Well, sometimes they'll have a sports channel on there too.
They had whatever station fucking Steve Harvey was on.
Did you watch the Feud?
No, not see Steve Harvey on The Feud I can handle, but the Steve Harvey Show.
Oh,
yeah,
crap.
Which used to be on when I had dental insurance for all of 6 months and managed to go in 4 or 5 times and get a tooth pulled, and I'm not bitter. Steve Harvey was also always on then. But anyway, so the Rachel Dolezal thing was on, and they kept showing, the picture of her tanned with the dark kind of crinkly. Is it crinkly hair? I don't know, like crimped hair.
Crinkly hair, like crinkle cut fries.
I don't know. So like the dark crimped hair, and then side by side with a picture of her maybe from high school or college where she's a blonde.
She's very Caucasian.
She's very, very Caucasian. And, I still didn't get a sense of, and maybe this just, this is why I shouldn't be speaking to it, is I didn't know. Am I supposed, yes, it's absurd. She's been pretending to be a black woman. But I was like, what does the culture feel about it? I can't tell. Are they pissed off, or they think it's funny? Or...
I don't know. Like I mean, we're very white.
We are very white.
Both of us are very white, and I don't really have any. I don't think I have any friends that are extremely ethnic.
Yeah.
In any way. Most of my friends are Caucasian. I don't know if that makes me a racist or not. Or maybe it's people don't like nerdy white guys.
Yeah, maybe.
So who knows? But I haven't been able to have a conversation with anybody about this.
Yeah.
But I mean, thinking about it, it's just like this person's pretending to be black. But if she was pretending to be black and doing bad things to make black people look bad,
that would be worse than what she's
or
done.
Whatever, or doing a lot of other crap or what have you.
Yeah.
But what she's doing is she's the head of a chapter of the NAACP trying to help out people.
Right.
So if she was doing bad, I'd be upset. But she was doing good.
But it begs the question: why did she have to pretend to be black to help with social issues? Like, would you pretend to be black? To
I
help
don't know.
With social issues?
Have you seen Soul Man? I don't know.
I haven't seen Soul Man.
The next time we have James Earl Jones on, we'll ask him about his role in that movie and how it affected the rest of his career.
He was on the Lost episode.
The lost
episode of the show. You said the next time we have him on. I was just letting people know that the reason you're like, wait, when was James Earl Jones on? It's the Lost episode, which we will eventually be featuring. We've got a bunch of Lost.
We've got some logistics to take care of.
We got some, but we do have the episode that James Earl Jones was on. It's just we haven't released it yet.
Oh wait, or was it?
I mean, truth be told,
no, it wasn't James Earl Jones. It was Earl Christopher Clark.
Yeah, we've got him. We've got him. He's been on a few. No, the James Earl Jones episode. I mean, one of the reasons we haven't let it fly yet is because it's got some episode 7 spoilers, and we didn't want to.
Yeah,
we didn't want to spoil anybody.
Yeah. We didn't want, like Jerry Bruckheimer. No, it wasn't Jerry. Who the hell? Who's doing that fucking movie?
Jerry Bruckheimer. That would fucking suck. That would be terrible. I would not be happy about that. He has ruined the Transformers for me. I do not want him ruining Star Wars.
Okay, so
you're thinking of...
No, Star Wars already got ruined, remember?
By George Lucas, yeah.
By the guy who invented it.
By the guy who invented it.
So I got a question.
The guy from Star Trek is the one who's doing the new Star Wars.
Yeah, what is his damn name?
What is his damn name?
I don't know.
He produced Lost.
Yes.
That guy. You don't. I
can't think of it right now.
I can't think of it either.
What I want to ask is, why is there whiteout on the side of that video cassette?
On the side, of Hook.
Yeah, why are the faces whited out?
Somebody was really mad about Hook. They're just like, I'm a Peter Pan fan, and that ruined. Like I'm a Transformers fan. This person must have been a Peter Pan fan, and they were just like, this ruined my childhood. I need to white out the faces of, I'm guessing, Robin Williams and maybe. Who played Hook in that?
Dustin Hoffman.
Yeah.
I was at Pinball Wizard, so I guess this is a drink because I'm talking about pinball. I was at Pinball Wizard and I played the Hook pinball machine, and it sucked. That was a sucky machine. It goes like you plunge,
yeah,
and then it goes straight into the pop bumpers at the top, and then goes basically almost 9 times out of 10 straight down the middle. And unless you move the machine considerably,
right,
you're going to lose the ball every time. I'm like, this is I don't know why. I'm like, is the one of your daughters right outside?
They might be, and I've been swearing way too much.
Is this just a shitty machine?
Yeah. I don't play pinball, so I don't know. That pretty much happens to me on every pinball machine I play.
What, it goes straight down the middle? Well, you just have to learn how to control the ball a little bit better. I'm still not that great.
Yeah.
But I'm allegedly better than I used to be, because like I was around some people and they were like, "Wow, you're pretty good." And I'm like,
"Yeah, that's you can believe them. It's okay to believe them."
Yeah, well, I played with them and I did well, and they did less well.
Yeah. The Rachel Dolezal thing was, as I said, only on the TVs for the first few days of the week, because there was another.
Wait a minute, hold on. We're not done with this one.
Okay.
But like I said how I feel. I mean, like I don't think it's a bad thing. Like, I mean, it's bad that she's being disingenuous and has to be disingenuous about herself. Yeah. But I don't think she's doing anything racist. I don't think she's like. I think she actually cares about the community that she obviously wants to be a part of.
It would seem so, yeah.
So,
but I did, in terms of me trying to find out how to pronounce her name, I did see a brief interview clip with an African American woman who was upset, not sort of like rip roaring upset, but just sort of like, why do you have to appropriate my race and my race's struggles in order to do this? I think there's a difference between being an ally, which is, I guess, the term that's out there now, and trying to pretend that you yourself have the same problems and have the same background.
I don't know. Maybe.
I mean, I haven't seen any interviews with her before all of this came out, so I have no idea how much she was pushing the whole "I'm black" thing before.
Michael Jackson said it doesn't matter if you're black or white.
He did say that before ripping his shirt off and
oh! Well, that was way too loud.
Thank you. That's going to be a fun. Well, I mean, yeah. God, that video. Did you stay up to watch that video? It was like a school night whenever that came out, and
then they had like George Wendt in the beginning. Like
they did, yeah, and of course back when MTV played videos, they played abridged versions of it. But I think pretty much only that first night and maybe a few times after that did you see the whole section where he tears off his shirt and he's destroying the car and like that whole bit where you're like, what is even going on here?
I actually like that video.
I mean, it's good. Well, of course, it was revolutionary for the morphing that happened in the with all the faces towards the end of the video. He did a lot of things special effects wise that were just crazy, and that you would then see.
I liked it when he was like, "I thought it was something," and he's like breaking through explosions, and he's like, "Ah, look at all this chroma key."
Yeah, it was pretty good. I'm not talking about that part. I mean, between the morphing of the faces at the end of that video, and then some of the effects in "Remember the Time," which was the video that came.
I didn't like that. Like, I didn't like the video, and I didn't like the song.
Yeah, there were better songs on that album. Not that album was his best, but there were better songs.
And it had Eddie Murphy in that one, right?
Yes, yeah.
The royal penis is clean, Your Majesty.
No, that's a good flick, or so I remember. I liked Jam on that album, which was I think the opening cut on Dangerous, and the video had Michael Jordan. And that video was much cooler because it's kind of Michael Jordan being Michael Jordan, and then Michael Jackson being Michael Jackson, and then towards the end they like kind of tried to play basketball together, but of course you could put about two of Michael Jackson on Michael Jackson on top of Michael Jackson's.
Michael Jackson's to be the height of one Michael Jordan.
Yeah,
is that what you're trying to say?
Yeah, or you could put Gary Coleman on top of Michael Jackson. No, I could have made that funnier if I were Steve, but I'm not Steve.
6 if you stack them high enough. Or wait. I think that's the punchline to a racist joke, but it's probably the wrong punchline to a racist joke. Put Velcro on the ceiling.
Oh my god. There's an episode title, The Wrong Punchline to a Racist Joke. Have we said enough about Rachel Dolezal?
I don't know. Sure, yeah.
I mean, I haven't read enough.
I haven't either.
We can keep. That's true of most of the things that are on this list, I suppose. But of course, there was the Charleston shooting in the middle of the week.
Which I thought you were going to say Charleston Chew. I'm like, oh,
Charleston Chew. So that kind of took the spotlight away from Rachel Dolezal, except for Fox News, who then went back to Rachel Dolezal the moment that they realized they couldn't possibly spin the Charleston shooting the way that they wanted to. So you were kind of like not online. So how much do you know about?
I guess there's another crazy white guy shooting people.
White guy shooting people. So he went into a church, hung out for a while in a Bible study group. I think it was on Wednesday night, and hung out for a good long while. And he had a bunch of ammo on him. And then after hanging out with the Bible study group for a very long while, opened fire, killed 9 people.
went on the run, has claimed that he wanted to use the incident to start a race war. Has been lots of photos of him with the Confederate flag have kind of come up. There's a question I want to ask you that I don't think you need to have seen much of the news about to pontificate on.
Okay.
So that's why I've bothered bringing it up.
All right, good. All right, let's do this.
So
then we can talk about Rockin' Ribfest.
Yes. So I had this conversation with someone on the ride home from the airport yesterday as well. That one of the things, aside from gun control,
Why
which
were you
is
at the airport?
I was picking up a friend from the airport yesterday afternoon.
I didn't know you had a friend. That's just sad. I'm sorry.
So, you know, the kid got a gun for his 21st birthday. You know, it's the latest in a lot of gun violence in the country. So there's the whole gun violence thing. But to a certain extent, I think people understand that there's not a lot of hope in winning the gun violence thing. So a lot of the attention that would, I think, otherwise be put towards we need to get rid of guns is going towards we need to get rid of the Confederate flag that flies over the Capitol in South Carolina, which of course South Carolinians, at least I would imagine a fair number of them, believe that that's, you know, a symbol of their heritage, not necessarily a symbol of racism. Whereas the movement to get rid of it says this is a symbol of racism. It needs to go. And I'm curious. I have some opinions on it. The friend that I was speaking with had some opinions on it. What do you think about the focus being on
the Confederate flag?
The Confederate flag all of a sudden.
I don't know. When I think of the Confederate flag,
yes,
I do not, because I wasn't around during the Civil War. As I am getting along in my years, I am not. I am not 100 and some odd years.
You might be around for the next Civil War, which could be
I don't need
any
your
day
Civil
now.
War.
Oh, nice.
So yeah, I'm like, so the only thing that I associate the Confederate flag with is the front of the Dukes of Hazzard car.
Right.
The General Lee.
The General Lee is where, yeah.
And I'm like, okay, so it's just what I consider it to be is a hokey thing on a debatably crappy television show from the 80s, 70s and 80s.
Right.
Or was it just the 70s? It's like I wasn't alive for much of the 70s.
Yeah, I was going to say, we mostly saw it in reruns, you and I, if we saw it. But it might have spilled over into the, like, 81, 82, somewhere around there.
But I wasn't probably watching it live. I'm sure somebody will be like, oh, yeah, it was on the 70s. But, yeah, so that's the only reference to the Confederate flag that I have. And so and so I'm not from the South. I lived in the South. But I lived in a very, like, an area that was predominantly...
It's kind of a northified version of the South.
There was a lot of people that were from up here that lived in that area. Right. So it was... I lived in the New England Light or something.
Yeah.
And it wasn't a good gauge of what the South was, because it wasn't, technically.
Yeah,
I mean, it was because it existed there.
It did, but not a.
So I'm not from down there. I don't know of the institutionalized racism or people actually being racist and actually having problems, racial problems down there. I don't know. I don't have the experience, so I can't really, I can't really say what that means. So I understand where they're coming from. I'm always going to be First Amendment guy and be like, if you want to fly your shitty flag, even if it's like, someone flipping the bird, I don't care.
Right.
So, or just saying, fuck you, like, what's somebody that won't get offended? Fuck, or if it was
fuck you, dumb people.
Yeah, fuck dumb people. Fuck you, white people, or whatever. If they had a flag that said that, I'd be like, okay, that's fine.
Yeah.
I'm staying away from that person,
right? Because
they obviously don't like me.
Yes, yeah, but no need to ban their flag.
Yeah,
I mean, I come down on the side of for me. I do identify it with the General Lee. That's the first thing. I do think it is a symbol of racism for the most part, more than anything else. But I think it's a distraction. Like if all the rage surrounding this kid going in and shooting up a black church is going to be directed towards taking a flag down, that seems to me to be the wrong place to direct that rage. That gun control is the place to direct it, even if it just results in absolutely nothing. The gun control fight should be where the onus should be. And that's where it should go. I mean, whether or not it succeeds, who knows? But that's where the problem is, and it's not with the damn flag. I think it's just it's a mistake to direct all that energy towards. Yeah, let's.
But the thing is, like,
I feel like they're doing it because they think it's a battle they can win.
Well, yeah, but like they definitely can't. I don't think they can win the gun battle.
They can't win the gun battle
because so as many shootings as there's been, you're not going to win.
No, somebody went in and shot up a goddamn elementary school, and it didn't do anything. Yeah. So the NRA comes out after this, and they basically blame the pastor, who was also a state senator, and they say it's his fault for fighting. I forget, but anyway, yeah, they're not going to win the gun control thing.
Yeah, but the thing is, like, they passed these little things, like I think it was in the state of New York. You can only have 7 rounds in a clip.
Yeah,
and so, and then like if you have like 8 rounds in like a handgun, even if you're at the range or something like that, that's illegal. I mean, that's silly. I'm sorry,
yeah.
That is doing nothing. Yeah. Like that. What is you good at? Like, so if someone has an illegal gun and they have more than like 8 bullets in there, then they're gonna get more of a sentence. Like, what the frick does that help?
Yeah, no, it's.
I mean, like, just because they're like, oh, it's a victory, and I'm like, it's a victory for nothing. Like,
the laws,
they're like, oh, but if like the guy in Colorado had this limitation, he's not going to care about a limitation like that if he's going to shoot up a movie theater or whatever.
Yeah.
Like, his goal was to get notoriety, and guess what? We gave it to him.
Yeah. Yeah. So you went to Ribfest.
I did, and it was rocking.
Was it rocking? I mean, it was always one of those things that was there. I went a few years. I lived in.
Have you been to the brewery for other reasons to go on the tour?
I have not been on the brewery tour.
So, getting local for you. Drink, one piece, pinball. What else do we talk about all the time?
I don't know. I'm trying to think of
strip clubs.
What is? Yeah, there you go. That one hasn't come up that often.
Yeah, we haven't talked about strip. We'll have to go to one.
Yeah, I was gonna say I'm not officially moved out of Merrimack. I mean, we still own our house in Merrimack, which is down the street from.
I did drive by where I pointed out to Becky. I was like, that's where Chris lives.
Lived. I don't know. Yeah, down there is the Gold Club. And
yeah, we passed by it.
Oh,
and I was like, you want to stop here? And I'm like, I know we're running late, but they're doing a bikini motorcycle wash today.
Did you have a motorcycle?
Nope. And I'm like, this is one of those big motorcycles, the ones with 4 wheels and has like a car body around it.
Yeah. But it's a motorcycle in its heart.
I don't want a pickle. I just want to ride on my motorcycle.
I don't know.
I don't want to die.
Just
want to ride on my motorcycle.
Okay,
it's some Arlo Guthrie for you.
I was gonna say, was that a TNS cut?
No, that was. I think that might have been the B-side to Alice's Restaurant.
Oh, okay, all right. What possessed you to go to Rock and Ribfest?
Well, there was some folks that wanted to, Dan and Paul and some and Brian and some other folks wanted to go, and so we were like, oh, let's go. We'll go to Paul's first and kind of group up there, and then kind of carpool. So because I don't know, we probably all could have taken our own cars, but if we had all done that, we wouldn't have been able to park across the street for $10, because if there's a car full of us, $10 is nothing.
Right.
If it's just 2 of us, they're like, damn it, we're paying too much. So
it's the whole thing's kind of a racket, which is why we don't go that much.
Yeah, and then so like we got there, and this reminds me of like a David Cross bit. It's actually one of my favorites. So you go there, and then you pay to get in, and then you have to get a wristband if you're going to be drinking alcohol.
Right.
So you show the people your ID. They give you a wristband. So you got the wristband, and then you have to go to another line to buy tickets.
Oh, for the rides and stuff?
No,
for alcohol.
Beer.
That's right.
So you buy tickets for the beer, and then you wait in another line to exchange those tickets for the beer. And it just reminded me of David Cross bit where he was at a similar venue or something.
Yeah.
And he was standing in the line, and he asked the guy in front of him, is this the line for the tickets or is this the line for the drinks? And he goes, I don't know, faggot.
Oh, Jesus.
And he was just like, that is not the, I don't know if there was something in the way that I asked the question that made him respond this way. Listen to the bit. It's a lot funnier than anything that I'm going to try to impart right now. But it just reminded him, I just started laughing, and I'm like, I'm not asking that guy in front of me.
Yeah.
And so we stopped at the first place after getting a beer, and it was the awesome Aussie.
That's my favorite. The few times I've been, that's where I've gotten my stuff.
So we went there, and I'm not a big ribs guy, so obviously I should go to Rocking Ribfest.
Yeah, no, it sounds like a brilliant plan.
No, but far. It's barbecue in general. So
yeah.
So I got pulled pork sandwich, but I got
that's what, I'm not a big ribs guy either. I go for the pulled pork.
So I got a pulled pork sandwich, but I got it with macaroni, bacon, macaroni, and cheese on top of it.
Nice.
Oh.
He's paying. Are you still paying for that?
No.
today?
Well, I definitely made a mess this morning.
Did you wipe though? That's
I totally did.
Okay, all right.
I made a Count Dooku, and it was a liquidy Count Dooku.
So it's like Count Dooku's neck after Anakin cuts his head off.
Yeah, sort of.
Something.
Wouldn't the lightsaber just cauterize the wound though?
Oh, that's right. It would. That's why you don't. That's why every time somebody gets their hand cut off, it's not a big deal. It's not a big deal.
Yeah. So yeah, we went there, and I ate this. Oh my god, I felt so sick afterwards. And then Dan was obsessed with trying the ribs from each of the places, and I'm like, "Are you nuts?" And he was just waiting in lines for these things, and he was like,
"You could spend the entire damn day doing that."
He was. That's what we did. A lot of the time was waiting, waiting in line. Where we would stand with them. We weren't going to get any damn ribs.
Yeah,
and because Becky and I were we ate she just got a regular pulled pork. She didn't get she had a bite of the macaroni cheese that was on mine.
Yeah.
But she didn't get the obscene mess of a thing that I got.
Probably a smart move on her part.
Yeah. She's just I'll just have some coleslaw instead. I'm like, you probably made the right choice.
Yeah.
But both of us were just full after we finished. And, and everybody else was like, eat. And I'm like, how do you do that? I guess I could never be a competitive eater because there was one time, I think we talked about it, when I was at Pinball Wizard, and we ate at Supa's.
You did, yeah.
And there was this challenge that they had that I'm like, I totally want to do that.
We did talk about it.
Wait a minute, and then after yesterday, I'm like, there's no way.
Yeah,
I ate the pulled pork sandwich, and I'm like, I couldn't. I was drinking beers, but
yeah,
that's hardly super filling once you drain it out.
I think, and we've probably talked about this before, that when it comes to competitive eating or anything like that, you really have to build up your stamina. So I haven't had a chocolate chip cookie in a couple weeks.
There's some out there. I brought them.
So I was out and about just before we started recording today, and I was so frustrated.
I can't wait. Just cookies a lot.
And I had a cookie. I got a cookie from Target.
Every time you say cookie, I'm so excited.
What are they?
Because I was mad a couple of weeks ago.
Right.
Oh wait, do you have to bleep that?
Yeah, probably.
I'll
figure
in between 51 and 52.
Yeah. I want to come up with a better bleep noise. That's something on my to-do list, but I won't because I've got a to-do list that's a mile long. So I'll just use the existing bleep noise. Actually, I'll have to remember where the hell I last used it. Anyway, that's too much. That is way too much inside baseball.
Yeah.
So Dan was getting ribs.
We got a lot of ribs, and then I did have more food eventually, but that was a couple of hours later.
Yeah, I can do that. I can do the ribs because they give you, at least the Aussie place gives you a big portion. So I would usually get the big portion from the Aussie place at around lunchtime. We'd go do because we have the kids.
Yeah, and they
go do the kids
on the fun
stuff.
Jump, the moon bounce or whatever.
And then that was one of the only places I knew that before we started going to Storyland every damn year. That was one of the places where you could get deep fried Oreos. And so
they didn't have them this year. They
didn't have the deep fried.
Everywhere.
They didn't have the deep fried Oreos.
Calm down. Just calm down. We like Brian.
That's the whole point. I am so glad that I fought for us not to go, because that is the whole point of Ribfest, is the deep fried effing Oreos.
Yes, we Brian.
So mad right
Brian
now.
was like, well, let's find them, and so we're going to every single place. We were just asking random people, do you know if there's any deep fried Oreos or anything? Nope, nowhere. Yeah. We were out of luck with that. So.
I have a video somewhere of the first year we saw those. We were really broke, and we didn't want to spend the money. So I went home. I found a recipe for deep fried Oreos, which you don't really need a recipe. You just need
breading, and
you need breading and Oreos and hot oil.
Yeah.
So I made them, and I made so many of those things. They were around for like a few days afterwards, and they were delicious. But
yeah, I can imagine.
Yeah.
But like the thing is, I remember being at like one of those state fairs a while back. And
when you were down south or up here?
Up here, it was. It wasn't the Big E. It was something else. I forget where it was, but they had deep fried Twinkies.
Never had those.
I got it, and it was gross. It wasn't like, because the Oreo is a sort of solid thing.
Yeah,
like a Twinkie is pretty mushy.
Yeah.
So like the Oreo, when you deep fry it, it still holds a little bit of consistency.
It does, yeah.
So when you bite into it, it doesn't turn into goop, which is what happened with the Twinkie.
Well, and to be fair, the Oreos are only really good like fresh. After a while, they're not quite.
Which explains why you had them sitting around for like a week.
Yeah. I made too many. I mean, I always make too many when I make those sorts of things. I once made homemade Oreos.
Oreo what? Cookies?
Yeah. It was way more trouble than it was worth. I made it the night before Thanksgiving, when we were going to have. This is when Stephanie and I lived in Drake, before the kids, all that, and we were having her family down for Thanksgiving dinner. I made them the night before. I think I had one of them.
Oh, look at you, Betty Crocker.
I slept in a little bit late. I got up the next morning. They were all gone. So I got to have one of these damn things that I made essentially for myself, but they were apparently enough of a hit.
I need to go grocery shopping and get myself a gingerbread cookie.
Apple cider donuts. I've also made those.
Those are really good,
and those stay pretty good for a couple days.
There's a local farm that's not far from Becky's place that does the cider donuts.
Do you do them fresh, or they
fresh.
have? See, that's the thing. We went to. And I wonder if I'd have to triangulate, but we went to some place. I think the place Steph and I went once was North Shore of Massachusetts, so not New Hampshire.
Yeah.
But they made them fresh, and every other place I've been to since, it's been a package, and they're not as good when they're not fresh.
Yeah.
Like apple cider donuts, fresh out of the fat
hot oil.
they are fantastic. Otherwise, they're okay. I don't know. So no Oreos. Dan was eating a bunch of.
I got some, but we got an ear of corn. They had a little sort of thing where they were roasting it in the stock and everything.
My dad was trying to teach the kids yesterday about microwaving ears of corn, which apparently is a cool way to do it.
I don't know if that's a cool way to do it. I would rather just put it in tinfoil and put it on the grill, but you know.
Yeah. Anyway, so you got some corn.
Yeah, so we got a corn, and then like a couple of people in front of us got just dunked it in the butter. And I was like, nope.
No.
Just I'm going to put some salt and pepper on it, but thank you.
Yeah, no, not a communal butter thing. Yeah.
No, but it's not like, no, it was the person that was running it. They dunk they give it to you.
Okay. So they dunk it.
They dunk it in.
It's not a public thing where somebody can go back and be like, all right, here you go.
No.
Eat a few, dunk it back in the butter.
Nope. No, they do it the once and then you get it.
All right, not as bad.
Yeah, but I was still I kind of like by the end of the night, like I wanted to eat something, but I felt bad about wanting to eat something because I was so full earlier.
Yeah,
and I was just like, ugh.
Did you listen to any of the music? Because usually there's some rocking at the Rockin' Ribfest.
It was kind of lame. Like they were just playing, it wasn't bad. It was good, and it wasn't super loud either.
No,
unless you were right next to the stage, and I don't think anybody was right next to the stage.
No,
there's some people in the bleachers, and then there was a couple people sitting in the grass, but
yeah,
it was fun in the background. And then I ran into a guy I used to work with when I was working in Salem, and then and Brian and I were warring it out for who had the nerdiest T-shirt, and he had it was Final Fantasy characters like in the select screen for like a fighting game.
Okay, yep.
So it was Ultros from Final Fantasy VI versus like Mom Bomb, I think, from Final Fantasy IV or something like that. So yeah, that was pretty nerdy, but I had my One Piece shirt on, and so people were like, well, you guys are pretty close. And then some guy like, took a picture of Brian's shirt, and then some guy early at some point later, he had his daughter on his shoulders, so like my normal response would be like, that's fucking awesome. But he had his daughter on his shoulders, like he saw my shirt, he's like, dude, and it was a wicked Boston accent, dude, Stry Luffy, that's fucking, or no, he didn't swear because he had his daughter. He was like, oh, that's great, dude. And I'm like, I want, like, I was drunk, and like my normal response when I've been drinking is like F-bomb this, F-bomb that.
Right.
And so I'm like, yeah, that's great. And we shook hands, and he's like, just doing some weird, like, gum, whatever. And I'm like, that's hilarious.
It is pretty hilarious.
So like we were even on people liking our nerdy T-shirts.
Well, I don't know that I could have passed judgment. I don't like to make people unhappy, so I could not have chosen. I'm sure you were both equally nerdy or geeky or whichever.
Well, I'm wearing a shirt.
I have that same shirt. I
got it from your brother. So.
Okay, I was going to say I think my brother gave me that.
And like the thing is, we neither of us actually beat Titan. It says I beat Titan. Battle Challenge.
Yeah, I don't even know what Titan is.
Final Fantasy 14, which is one of the online ones.
Okay, yeah. And I think the last Final Fantasy something that I played was Final Fantasy Voice something or other that it was an iOS game, and John found it.
The one where like you would say something,
and then that was your character's power or whatever.
Yeah, and then every time you attacked, it would say what you said into the phone.
Yeah. Usually in like a sped up like chipmunk style. Yeah. It was pretty funny. At any rate. There are a few other things on the list, but we are at an hour.
We are out of time.
We are out of time.
Tune in next week when we talk about more stuff. More racial issues and stuff like that. You know what? You can find me on Twitter at AT.
No, we got to find out who at is.
I'm at Tuesday is loser. That's Tuesday is loser. All one word.
I am at ECC 1977.
You can find Oh, I'll do it this time. You can find the show notes for this episode at clarkwoods.com /hot/47.
47.
And you can send us an email
at hot@clarkwoods.com. And of course, if you want to support Steve and Dan in his effort to eat all of the barbecue in the world.
Yes, so he can have more barbecue next year.
Then you should
buy the Ape's Choice on iOS or on the iTunes Store and or on Google Play or on Amazon.
Yeah,
buy that album.
Buy it. Buy it right now. Buy it in all three places.
We're listening to the Bill Bent song earlier this week, and I like that song a lot.
I went into Cambridge to do a thing this morning, and I was playing on the piano. I was reminded of the fact that at some point I'm supposed to come up with something for a TNS song. I'm supposed to like send Dan something. And spoilers. I know we've talked about it on the show, haven't we?
I don't know.
Well, at any rate, I'm just saying it publicly because I should work that into my summer because that would probably be more fun than a lot of the stuff that's on my to-do list.
All right, so tune in next time for more farts and ass on Horribly Off Topic.